UKLC is presented by Barclays and Curry's PC World.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the UKLC. We are getting geared up and ready to go into our second game of the day. It is Demise taking on Barrage Academy. Now, also we're having a little chat just to kind of get ourselves ready for this game a minute ago, and taking a look at this game, what are we feeling coming into here? Because Barrage have had a pretty rough go of it so far, 0-3. They had a very rough week this week as well. They had to take on Munster yesterday. Envision yesterday. And unfortunately, they did lose out to Envision. What are we feeling about this game?
I think it's heavily Envision favored. Demise favored. Get me mixed up as well here, Jake. I think Demise, they had a rough game against London where really the mid difference was a massive thing. So that potentially could be a factor here if Wolf doesn't have the greatest performance. But ultimately, I think Demise have a really strong top jungle. I think their bot lane is solid as well. I think that there's not an easy answer to this roster. And Barrage, I think yesterday, they just really lacked an identity. I think the draft didn't make too much sense to me. Having the Karma mid with like a Calista, AD carry, I don't think syncs up too well, in my opinion. And I think we just sort of saw them struggle. They didn't really find the momentum. The only lane that I think looked really solid was top lane from Akers. But he's now going to be up against Rifty today, which is, you know, that's not exactly going to be enjoyable.
It's hard. Obviously, yesterday we saw Rifty pick up the Jax into Bear Tree's Scion. Bear Tree was actually able to kind of hold Rifty at bay. Rifty did split push like an absolute beast, but Iskandra kind of hit on how Scion's pretty good at just containing Rifty. But what yesterday's game and yesterday's loss for the side of Demise came down to, it came down to London just being just about outplaying them and out excelling them in the team fight scenarios, and Rifty would teleport into a lost team fight, or on the Jax wasn't really able to offer quite the amount of impact that he would have wanted to. So you were saying to me you were maybe worried that Akers, you know, even if he's able to hold Rifty at bay, is that enough?
Yeah, that's my concern, because it's not just going to be down at Akers. I think the rest of the team needs to step up. I do think mid for Demise could potentially be a weak point, but I think that bot lane, I would still be favoring the side of Demise. So, you know, if your mid laner doesn't manage to capitalize, if your bot lane doesn't manage to capitalize, it's like, great, you held Rifty. Now what? And that's really the issue. And we saw a composition coming out from them yesterday where we had picks like the Lee Sin in the jungle, the Calista Thresh bot lane, the Karma. These picks need momentum. And they never found it. It was at a point where Afro Boy was 100 CS down against the Graves. And it just really started to feel extremely lost. It felt like they didn't have too many options to do. And I think the critical thing to highlight is the fact that it was Calista Thresh into Ziggs Pike. And I really felt like this was actually a pretty greedy pickup by Envision to go this bot lane. But it just worked because they just weren't punished in the 2v2. And by all means, if there's an equal skill matchup, the Thresh Calista should have been finding kills in this situation. And I think maybe this is an indication that we need to see a little bit of a different identity coming out from the side of Barrage, because they've tried sort of a more poke-heavy composition with the Zoe Varus. They did try and go for the Aphelios Lulu combination, but then the Zoe in the mid lane didn't really set that up. I feel like the drafts just haven't really coordinated too well together to give them a clear win condition. And this could be down to sort of the team's priorities or the team struggling to find what works for them. But I just want to see a composition that says, we do this, we do it well. And then just focus on that one aspect and keep things simple, because right now they're struggling. And I don't think this is going to be an easy matchup for them. And if they lose this one, being 2 weeks in and being down 0-4 is just an awful start of the season. Obviously, a huge part of it is we'll look to improve over time, but they need to start making moves now.
Yeah, and I feel like if you looked at yesterday's match, you may have gone, oh, well, Demise, they did lose. They were playing versus London, who are one of the favorites in the league, and it was close. It was a real back and forth, and part of that actually came off PFI being able to steal the Baron. He positioned himself so well. He timed everything just exceptionally well, and PFI is someone I am going to be watching in this game. Obviously, when it's Rifty, it's always really exciting to watch him play. He is a split push god. He's one of the strongest top laners in this league, and as Scoundrel said yesterday, he feels that Rifty is definitely NLC level. So he was obviously looking to try and play, and prove his worth and maybe even qualify Demise to the NLC. We'll have to see how that goes for him. But also for me, it's PFI. He's the one I want to be tracking in this game. And I'm curious to see if the Elise gets through again, because the Elise is a very comfortable pick for PFI. You see the impact he's able to have on that champion. So, I'll have to keep our eyes peeled going into this picks and bans. Now, guys, we are getting ready to go into this game. So we're going to cut to a quick break. And when we're back with Champ Select for our second game of the day. Don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We're getting ready to go into Champ Select for our second game of the day between Demise and Barrage Academy. Demise will be on the blue side, Barrage Academy on the red. And let's see, as we head into picks and bans, what's going to be denied, what's going to be picked up. We finally saw the Syndra slip through for the first time in a long time, and it was pretty crushing. So I do expect to see that Syndra still banned away.
Seeing that Karma taken away. So this is something that Barrage did use as a flex yesterday. Again, I don't think they utilized it effectively, but it is still threatening. We're seeing a lot of priority in the Karma. It's a good support pick for achieving priority. Mid, it offers a lot of scaling options. So that one quickly taken away. And then another flex, the Set. And similar to the Syndra that you were talking about, these picks have a lot of power in the fact that not only they offer a lot of inherent champion power, but also the flexibility. And Lulu, less of a flex. We have seen it flex occasionally, but just again, a lot of scaling elements being cut down by Demise here. I think potentially concerned that they lose a grasp on the game, these picks could bite them in the back.
Now, what would be their final ban here? They've already done 2 support bans. These kind of enchanter supports. Like you said, the Karma obviously flexible as well. But that is going to be the Ornn taken away. Yesterday, we saw 5 bans in the top lane versus Rifty. It proved to be effective in the end, but this time the Graves was left open, so that is going to be banned away. Don't want to give that over, but this leaves a lot open. The Aphelios, the Syndra, the Kalista. There's so many strong champions open right now. I'm intrigued to see what Demise put the priority on right now.
Yeah, they have a range of options, and ultimately, Barrage are going to be able to answer with more things. Varus comes to as a first pick, not a huge surprise in the situation. And I think with the bans away from these shielding scaling supports and also against the Ornn, it really sets the Varus up to be strong in this situation. Now, I'm going to be looking towards Barrage to see what they take as an answer to this. Kalista Thresh is open and available, or you could go for something like the Ezreal Yuumi. Don't have to pick the Yuumi right now, but it looks like they might end up doing so.
Don't want to potentially give it over. I don't really feel like Yuumi does all that well with the Varus, but you could correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I don't
But
think you
even
want to
so,
pick
they
them
don't want to
together.
risk it. They want to make sure they get this lane for themselves. They pick it up, and now it's over to Demise. Question is what do they want to pick up for themselves here? Still a lot of supports left open. That Thresh is available to kind of go in tandem with the Varus to give him some safety. They could just add a little bit more kind of solid and easy to land engage with this Nautilus, who obviously has a Q, the whip for the lane, and the depth charge, which is point and click for himself. And now
Also,
looking over, what does the Mize want to get next?
Also, it's cleanse proof. I expect to see KDO go cleanse in this game, and obviously can't use that against the depth charge. So, going to be able to land that CC irrespective. I think in this situation, likely going to see a jungler right now coming out from the side of Demise. Trundle is open and available, although actually, as I say, that the Syndra has still been left open. So, just going to take that one for Wolf. Hopefully, seeing a better game from him in this situation. Yesterday wasn't great on the Azir. But he now has a pick with a lot of power. They have a ton of burst potential achieved already. And into the LeBlanc, I think you're fine with that matchup. You're going to be able to get a priority in it. And as long as you're not getting challenged too much in the jungle, you should be fine. And now we're seeing a situation where Barrage likely going to take the jungler in the next rotation and then have a top lane counter pick for Akers. I would not want to blind a top lane into Rifty. And we could just see them ban away picks that Rifty might want to capitalize on. Camille being one of them, so not too many surprises. If I was Demise, you have your options. Ban away those junglers you don't want to see from Afro Boy. Potentially, though, you could just thin out safe picks for Akers to take.
Yeah, that is also the option. We might see a lot of top laners disappear from the pool right now. Demise, they've got a pretty powerful comp already put together, at least with as far as raw power picks are. But looks like for now they're going to thin out into Afro Boy's pool, taking away that Olaf. And now Barrage. I actually expect this to be another top lane ban against Rifty. Yesterday we saw the Jax get picked up for him. Then maybe they do have something in answer to that. But no, it looks like that's not the case. The Jax will be taken away. This time it's 4 top lane bans coming out from the side of Barrage. Whenever Rifty's on the map, so many champions in the top side just get banned. He's too scary.
We've seen 4 top lane bans essentially from Barrage so far. I mean, of course, there is the flexibility of Wukong and Set, but even so, that is 4 top laners Rifty can't play. Seen the Rek'Sai ban come out from against Afro Boy. He could just go the Lee Sin in this situation. Jarvan also works against these immobile carries. I feel like Lee Sin works well in tandem with the LeBlanc, and it is a pick Afro Boy leans towards, so they will go for that one. They've got the option to punish Wolf. They can also use that to capitalize on Nemki being immobile. And now it goes over to the side of Demise. Actually, banning away that Rek'Sai does obviously mean you don't have that direct answer to the Lee Sin that we typically see. But PFI could bring something out like the Gragas that we sometimes see from him, which is still a decent answer to the Lee Sin. I guess it just depends what he wants to offer.
Well, PFI may be going towards something he's very comfortable on. We saw him have a great performance on it yesterday, even though they did lose. Able to steal away that Baron, and also just incredibly effective on this pick. We've seen PFI pick it up oh so many times, so the Elise will be the pickup here. And now it's over to Rifty to get something in this top lane for himself. Currently hovering that Renekton. It is obviously very lane dominant, very Rifty focused, but something that we talked about yesterday with Excandra was this is the Volibear top patch. And we are now seeing the Volibear for the first time in the UKLC. Yeah,
and that's a big sort of call out towards Akers. We have to see what he brings out in response. If he has something prepared, because the Volibear, it got buffed heavily after the rework because people weren't sort of up to speed on it, and is very quickly sort of taken over. Not really sure about the Maokai in this situation. I think he's just going to beat you up, in all honesty. This is Akers saying, please leave me alone. I'm going to play weak side. And ultimately, I feel like PFI has a lot of options where he wants to look. I think mid, you're typically playing a defensive game to facilitate the Syndra, unless you can counter gank. But bot lane, you can definitely shove that in, look to dive. Top lane, it's a similar situation, having the Volibear and the Elise together. They are such a strong diving duo, especially once the Volibear hits 6, it can just negate the tower. So very scary tools coming out from Demise. For the side of Barrage, they get to the late stage. If they get out of the laning phase, I think typically they should be fine. They can actually find a lot of poke with their champions, with the Ezreal, Yuumi, and LeBlanc. So pre-fight, you want to set up some poke on the enemy team. Obviously, you would expect Varus to do that as well, but the Yuumi kind of negates that. And then when it comes to team fights, it's just sort of letting the Ezreal take over.
I actually did want to ask you a little bit about the Barrage lineup, especially this Maokai pick. What is it actually bringing? Because you noted that obviously there's a lot of poke available with the LeBlanc and the Ezreal, and they're also a very slippery team with the Lee Sin. Obviously, the Yuumi will be attached to one of these slippery members, and then the LeBlanc. It's actually quite hard to pin these members down. What is the Maokai actually offering this team? Is it once the poke goes down, he just brings the engage, or is he here? What does he actually offer right now?
Good TP flanker is the main thing. If we see a situation where Maokai does TP in behind the enemy team, you put down the ultimate. If you can get the Syndra and the Varus in it, very easily for the rest of Barrage to follow up. Even things like the True Shot Barrage from Ezreal can just decimate. So when he joins a team fight, he's instantly going to be able to make an impact. And there isn't really great tank killers on the side of Demise. And then on top of that, in the side lane, essentially your job is to hold the volley bear. So very much a sort of, we're going to leave you alone, Akkers. Try not to die. If you do, we'll try and win anyway, is the goal of this.
Alrighty, well, the teams have taken to the Rift. We're loading up and getting ready to go into our second game of the day. It's Demise taking on Barrage Academy. I'm very excited to see our first reworked volley bear here in the UK scene. And it is Rifty. Of all people to be piloting that champion, it's Rifty.
Yeah, and we should be looking to see him just really put the pressure on early. A lot of trading power from this volley bear. The shield is just going to be able to mitigate any damage coming out from the Maokai. If you can consistently look for the longer trades that normally a Maokai actually enjoys because of his passive, you will not find success against the volley bear. Obviously, that W does more damage to wounded targets, can out-heal the damage off the Maokai. And I think the big thing is you don't really have many tools to keep the Maokai off, the volley bear off you. I think when talking to people, a lot of the matchups they've said are decent at the volley bears if you can sort of maintain them at a distance, which is difficult for a lot of champions in honesty, but Maokai is one of those very short-ranged top laners. Especially if PFI shows his face top lane, we could see this get a little bit tricky. Right now, he is going to be starting on the bot side, so could path up there pretty early.
And he's on a champion who excels at these early ganks. It's kind of at least his main criteria is to kind of get these early ganks off and get that snowball going. Otherwise, you do kind of just turn into that cocoon bot as the game goes later and later.
And I think that's the thing is I want to see the early momentum coming out from Demise. Otherwise, it will get a little bit trickier. If they start a little bit early...
Pretty expected there. Obviously, new passive. You kind of get a mini static shiv every third auto attack on the volley bear. If you haven't seen him, he just turned into a bit of a tanky beast. Now, I've seen so many different builds, Orcs. What is the typical build for volley bear at the moment? Because I've seen so many different people experimenting and trying, but what are we typically seeing as our meta build?
I think it depends. I think it depends what you're looking to get in this situation, because I've seen people go more a tanky build. Triforce is a really powerful item with him. I've seen people lean towards like the death stance. If you're trying to like just dumpster the Maokai, that's definitely an option. But you can just go more tanky items and be relevant in team fights. Some people will just go the Triforce, then tank. Some people even forego it completely and just go for like a raw tank build. It really depends what you're wanting to offer your team. He is very much sort of attack based, like very much consistently landing those auto attacks and sort of building up your passive as you were talking about before. So in the longer fights, definitely really strong, but also it's just such a tanky champion in honesty.
Yeah, it does feel pretty hard to cut through. We are back into the game. We had a quick disconnect, but it looks like that has been ironed out and we're ready to continue going. Rifty obviously now hitting that level 2 mark. One of the main changes as well is that ability there, his Thundering Smash, his new Q. Instead of flipping you over, he just charges in and stuns you. So there's no displacement, but it is hard CC instantly. Speaking of hard CC, there's a lot down here in this lane. KDO getting chunked by Chromax, taking that hook to the face with a level 2 advantage for Nemki as well. They were just able to put so much damage in. He does have the Yuumi, so he will have the additional healing to work with, though.
Yeah, you can see top lane Rifty's just going to have complete control of this. As you're talking about the passive, it's not quite every 3 auto attacks. It's actually every auto attack. You get like a little AoE chain that goes to the minions. Oh, you have to
charge it up then?
Yeah, you charge it up to 5 stacks, and then you just permanently have AoE in your autos. It's not a ton of damage, but it's so good for pushing the lane out. And you also get attack speed, so in those extended trades, really strong. We now see PFI posturing here, but Afroboy will scare him away. They're not quite going to go for a dive yet.
Now Wojciech's going in for a trade here onto Wolf. Will land the chains and gets a fair amount of damage off there. Obviously, when that Scatter the Weak goes down in this matchup, it gets actually quite scary for Wolf, because Wojciech at that point has no way to be disengaged. The Scatter the Weak is one of the primary tools to keep Syndra safe in this matchup.
The PFI just sprinting across mid lane to get to that Scuttle on the bottom side. He knows he has priority bot lane. He knows he can get this, so he just runs straight there, and Afroboy can't really do anything in response. He's willing to give up the information on where he is to try and find that. And yeah, Wolf not having a fun time in this mid lane. Afroboy actually going to move up and look, but if we look towards the boss side river, Chromax and PFI moving over.
Yeah, it will be a 3 versus 2 if something is going to break down. But just playing nice and safe here for the moment. Goes in for the charge forward. Now just blinks back as Chromax and PFI closing down here. Afroboy is waiting in the wings.
So that could have been a lot more favorable for Demise, but Wolf was just too low on HP. If Wolf was healthier, you could have baited for longer, waited for the LeBlanc's sort of distortion to time out so you can't jump back, and also potentially had Afroboy dash in, and then you would have been able to turn around. But as soon as LeBlanc moved forward, they just had to react, because otherwise Wolf probably would have gone down there. You see bot lane, both sides resetting. Then you're going to get the early Executioner's Calling to reduce the healing from that Yuumi. They'd have that early power in the matchup that we expect from the Varus. So you null in here a bit from Rifty.
Yeah, Sky Splitter Shield is going to keep Rifty nice and comfortable, even though he was down in levels in that fight.
Just doesn't matter.
Just does so much damage.
He seems like he's setting up Akers to overextend the lane and be in a difficult spot. It's good if Rifty wants a solo all in, but also good if he manages to get a gank. For now, though, PFI passing towards the boss side of the map, wanting to assist Wolf out here and also facilitate his bot lane. His bot lane have just permanently had priority, permanently had a CS lead.
Oh, action's breaking out in the mid lane. Cocoon goes a little bit wide. Afroboy's able to hop away to Wojciech to safety.
Yeah, a bit desynced there. The Scatter of the Week actually knocking Afroboy away for the Cocoon, so not too much coordination going on between Demise, but they do manage to force them away. Going to shove the wave in, and then actually, I would like to see them rotate bot. This is a massive wave bot. I think you head straight down and look for a dive.
Kick lands by Afroboy. He knows what PFI's about. You can see him on that pink ward, and it looks like this is just going to be the Mountain Drake started up here for Demise. Doesn't really feel like Barrage Academy have an option to contest this. Rifty now level 5. Once he's got that Stormbringer, his ultimate, they're going to have insane tower diving potential in this top lane with PFI. At least already very good at tower diving because of the repel, but with the fact that the Volibear brings an Ohm Wrecker effectively to the dive, makes that dive even easier. So Akers has to be a little careful now, but that level 6 is coming through.
Yeah, but overall, his laning phase hasn't gone too bad. He's holding up okay. He is a little bit behind in CS. As much as this only looks like it's about 5, Rifty is going to catch a wave. Or he's going to catch a tree in this situation.
Well, Rifty can chase down, but decides not to. Doesn't really have the information on where Afroboy is. And even though he's as tanky as he is and as strong as he is, doesn't feel comfortable overextended, getting himself caught out. As now they're looking to come through. Kick goes wide by Afroboy. And now Rifty gets himself the shield off from the Sky Splitter. He's going to throw in the ultimate as well. That's the Stormbringer. And Rifty gets them all down and finds first blood. 1 versus 2.
Yeah, I don't think Barrage Academy were factoring in how strong this Volibear is. Once you get this second bite down on a wounded target, just the healing is huge, the damage is huge. Afroboy disrespects, Akers disrespects. And honestly, they're lucky they didn't give 2 kills over them, but this is typical Rifty on a very powerful champion.
Yep, it's going to go to base, spend that gold. He had a coll in his pocket, and that longsword, and the ruby crystal. Looks like he's going towards that Triforce build here with the Phage pickup.
Early Phage keeps you on top of your targets, which is important for the Volibear. It's essentially, if you can stay on top of Akers, you just win. That's it. Just you win. So the movement speed really important here. Also has those boots working for him. This could end up getting a little bit tricky. We do see Varus going down bot again, despite the fact Herald has spawned. They want to play around Rifty's strength. and they're going to leave Nemki in the bot lane to catch the wave. They're going to have Chromax up top side. Potentially look for an early pickup on an Akkas if he overextends. You can see on the other side, Barrage Academy, they're sending KDO and Alpaca down the bot lane, so they're not contesting this Herald at all.
Yeah, looks like Barrage don't particularly feel comfortable to do so. With the fact that Wolf also has prio in this mid lane, or at least had the shove in the lane, means they are able to rotate into this jungle and take this. No contest coming through from Barrage Academy, and Demise get themselves the first Drake and the first Rift Herald. They're feeling pretty comfortable at the moment. Got themselves a 1,000 gold lead.
Now, Afroboy's looking towards bot lane. They want to punish the lone Varus, but he has flash, he has his ultimate, he has heal, and the wave isn't even pushed in. That's the thing.
Oh, actually, spots out the support, gets the kick onto Chromax. The chains will connect into the sigil. Fair amount of damage onto Chromax as he is running low. Afroboy needs to find one more Q, and he will. Finds himself the kill. Meanwhile, PFI is hanging around this top side of the map. He's just picking up the crab for the moment. I think they're waiting for Rifty to get ultimate if they want to go for a dive onto Akkas here.
Could well be. A little bit of an interesting play there. Chromax is taking a very dangerous route towards the bot lane, and then Wolf managed to score a goal there. Obviously, landed the scat of the week between Wojux and Afroboy. Hit neither of them, so wasn't great to see.
I like that. Score a goal.
Yeah. Didn't work out quite as well as scoring a goal in football, unfortunately, but it does mean that Nemki is still alone on the bot side, and they could look for something here. Yeah,
it does do a fair amount of damage to KDO, but this isn't the lethality Varus. This is on-hit Varus. Something we haven't really hit on. He went for the lethal tempo. He's building that Blade the Ruin King. Afroboy basing on a ward, which is a little dangerous for him.
Bit interesting. We did see nerfs to the lethality Varus. And obviously, if you're trying to cut down a Maokai, the on-hit Varus is better. But you are going to be at a massive range discrepancy against the likes of an Ezreal. You know, when he's firing these mystic shots and he has the Yuumi on top of him, you're not going to be able to really trade in terms of poke, which the lethality Varus would be able to. You're really waiting until he gets up close to you to be able to offer quite as much.
Still doing a fair amount of damage early here with those Qs. Obviously not quite as much, but KDO pretty happy with the kind of turn of play. Even though they did lose their Herald, they got a bit of free time in this bot lane. So kind of alleviated some of this pushing pressure. They obviously are down 10 CS as it is.
That's fine. You're playing Ezreal Yuumi, you're down only 10 CS, great. Because you just outscale massively. She'll take that situation. Obviously, top lane isn't going quite as well. But now you're kind of happy. Wolf, again, being threatened in the mid lane, but does make use of that phase rush to disengage. Could look for Afroboy here.
They do have that Cocoon. It is going to land. The Scat of the Week is available. Not going to find its mark as Chromax also was making his way up. Wasn't able to get there in time. And Rifty in this top lane. Big CS lead.
He's just punching the turret.
He's got the Sheen. He's got the Phage. He's got the power to do so. He's going to use the Sky Splitter just to get a bit of a slow off onto Akkas. Did a fair amount of damage as well there. Curious to see what he's maxing on the Volley Bear.
He's maxing
the ball. Okay, it kind of makes sense.
The thing with the E is it does percentage HP, so great against the Maokai. Now he's looking for the all-in.
He actually just had the damage here. Rifty with that maul does so much damage to him. Throws down the ultimate. In comes Afroboy, though, who lands himself the kick in. But he's now the one getting chunked out. Rifty, once again, 1 versus 2. He's doing so much work. Barrage is sent packing, and they lose the dragon, and they lose the tower, and a second charge from this Herald. Barrage just kind of left their head scratching as the hook comes down. They do throw the ultimate out from the Yuumi to ping Chromax underneath the tower. He's going to take a fair amount of damage, but KDO doesn't have that Mystic Shock available. Wojak's looking to shove him forward here, though, but Akkas has come down with that TP flank. This is what you were talking about. They're going to get the distortion off. The chains are blocked by the Cocoon from PFI, and the Spiderlings get the Prowling Projectile blocked up momentarily. Meanwhile, Afroboy is getting soloed by Rifty. That's a bear killing out the Ninja. He's going to find himself a kill.
Feels like Barrage just don't have an answer to the Rifty problem. They keep throwing things at it, and this bear is just getting stronger and stronger. And as a result, they lose Dragon, they lose bot tower, they get a charge on their tier 2. Barrage is just getting lost at the moment. And they did answer back. They did manage to take out Chromax there, but it is not a worth trade. They're 3,000 down now. 2 dragons in favor of Demise. This volley bear is just becoming a problem, and they don't have the answers. And now they're looking again, but no cleanse for KDO.
Yep, he's going to get instantly caught by that cocoon. Looks to jump away. Alpaca, he just disengages and is out of there. But PFI will just go up and sink in the fangs. Alpaca running so low. He's going to get the zoomies off for a little bit of movement speed, but this is the kill for Nemki. I realized, Orcs, I made probably the biggest mistake I've made as a caster. I called Afro Boy on the Lee Sin a ninja. He's a monk. What am I talking about?
Yes, that's the biggest mistake you ever made. It's not even the biggest mistake today, Jake. I wouldn't worry too much. Triforce now completed for Rifty. It's just scary. This champion is really something.
Yeah, he's something all right.
And I feel like now in the top lane for Akers, it's going to be almost unbearable.
All right, I'm going to see if we can get Scoundrel back on the show. Don't agree with him. Anyway, we've seen the rotation come through. The Herald are actually spawning up fairly soon. This time, Demise do rotate their bot side over. So it looks like KDO is going to try and shove in this mid lane for the moment. Wolf should be able to deal with it somewhat efficiently. He is on a Cinder. He's got a fair amount of just base wave clear available to him. KDO is still cleanseless, so it does need to be a little bit careful. As Demise, the Herald's up, but they may just take a tower without it. They've got the men up in the top lane. Akers just so far behind on every front. He doesn't want to step up here. Doesn't want to step up versus Rifty. It's going to be about those TP flanks you were talking about earlier.
It feels like they're hiding almost from Demise. Like, Akers won't step up. Wojcik is going to take some lone time bot lane, but then he's going to back away. They're not contesting the Herald. There's nothing else for them to contest. Thank you, Observer. Yes, that ult didn't hit anything. And now, I mean, you see LeBlanc, Lee Sin bot lane.
Oh, scattered by Wolf onto Alpaca. Alpaca is able to get out, though.
But, like, look, if we can look bot lane, like, I don't even know what they're doing. I think they just...
You're a LeBlanc and a Lee Sin. You're not killing him.
It's what they try... I don't know.
PFI's found Akers, a great flash by Chromax into the ultimate. They do get the final chapter coming down from the Yuumi, but it's just not enough to find the kill. That's going to be one dead tree.
Oh,
now
Nemki could actually
does get the damage onto Nemki. Finds himself the shutdown.
That's something. That's something. It's not good. It's not great, but it's something. But yeah, I don't know why Afro Boy is just... He's so set on trying to kill Rifty, and Rifty just chomps him every single time. And I saw it happen in bot lane. Like, I was saying they were hiding from him. And then they're trying to make this... I saw them collapsing on Rifty. And then I saw the icon, like, move back from Rifty. And it looked like Afro Boy had kicked him backwards. And I was like, surely he wouldn't have done that. And then the Observer literally switches just to see Afro Boy die. And I'm like, oh, no.
You know when Worlds comes around and the wildcard regions, when they have to play versus SKT... They all just go for a cheese play to kill Faker, just so they can say they could kill Faker. That's kind of what's happening here. It's Rifty is our Faker, and they're trying to just shut him down. It's like, I killed Rifty, so I guess that means I'm better than him, right?
Absolutely. Can't argue with that logic.
That's my logic. That's what it feels like.
All right, Ocean Soul, if there's anything that's going to make Rifty even more invincible, then that is it. And honestly, third dragon coming up.
If Demise get Ocean Soul, this game's honestly doomed. I don't see how you deal with
as opposed to now, where it's looking really good for Barrage. But if oh, engage.
Yeah, Wojcik has to cleanse and jump away. Afro Boy tries to slide in. He's looking for his kick, but he does find it onto Chromax, but it's only to disengage. Rifty
Look at Rifty.
1 versus 3 on the bear. Throws down the Stormbringer.
The damage!
The bites down. Rifty is an absolute beast in every sense of the word. Finding himself a double kill. Killing the cat. Killing the Ezreal. And now he's running down Akers. Akers can do nothing but run to the wind. He's going to try and get the interrupt off, but Rifty continues to chase. Our poor Observer doesn't know where to follow because Afro Boy just bolting it in the other direction. They do use the ultimate to try and get him. I do find the knock up, but Afro Boy probably a little bit too slippery. as Rifty gives up the chase on to Akers in the top side. And that will be the Ocean Soul picked up. And now Rifty looks to come in to try and find a couple more members. Gets the blast cone over. He is not done right now.
He's still fishing, and why not? He does not feel like he can go down.
Good true shot, though. They don't actually have the kick. Does land onto Chromax. I don't think that's particularly the target they want to find. And Barrage,
I don't think he's going on any target there. It's only Ocean Soul point, so could be worse. Could be worse, you know.
Yeah.
They're 4 minutes and a half before the game is over, but it's still not feeling good right now. Rifty 5-0 on this volley bear. I want to see what he recalls for. I think he might just get like a death stance outright. And that's it. That is just don't mess with bears.
Yeah, that's good life advice. Don't mess with bears. Let's have a little look at the gold graph. I'm pretty sure we can all predict what this gold graph's going to look like. Yeah, like that.
Yep.
It's entirely blue.
Yeah, yeah. Rifty reset, bought full death stance, so you know, Barrage Academy just need a lot of time. You know, maybe give them. They need to steal this next dragon. Hopefully, maybe another dragon after that. Find some picks. Wojux is looking.
Yeah, Wojux is instantly going to get everything thrown onto him. Nemki gets chunked out pretty hard there. Afroboy lands the kick onto Chromax once again. That is all they're going to be able to get from that. The side lanes are pushing in favor of Demise right now. Rifty and Wolf do a good job to just move over and get control of there. That will force the members of Barrage to back away from this objective.
Well, let's look at the good points, okay? 1, there are brief moments when Rifty isn't with the team and he doesn't have teleport. 2, Afroboy has stopped trying to kill Rifty. That's also good. And 3, they do have a Yuumi, so there is some late game element that they can work towards. But Afroboy is no more.
Yeah, Afroboy is...
I don't think... you know, I agree.
I
don't
rough
think...
game.
No play-by-play required for that moment.
There wasn't a chance.
We just needed to sit there and watch. I think it was the right call, absolutely. Oh, no, there he is.
Oh, speaking of which, KDO, he is just going to be melted down. The Stormbringer's used as well to crash over the wall. Rifty's dominating. Once again, he finds himself a double kill onto the bot lane duo. Wojux instantly gets CC'd the second he jumps over to try and clear out the wave. Chromax tanking the tower to make sure PFI lives, and Akers... It might not be Rifty chunking him out this time, but even so, he continues to be chunked in this game.
And we talked about Akers, how, you know, maybe holding Rifty wouldn't be enough. Hasn't been. And also, Afroboy really didn't make things easy for him. Because, I mean, you look at Akers. Akers is 1-1-1, right? And yet Rifty's 7-0. And I think everyone knows how that happened. But I think really it's just... priorities were off in this game. I think mid lane, they were finding some success from Wojux, but they just didn't capitalize. The fact that Wolf hasn't died this game is honestly an achievement in and of itself, because he was really having a rough time mid lane. You're against LeBlanc Lee Sin. They should have killed him. They didn't. And it's just meant that the only avenue that potentially Barrage Academy could attack got away scot-free. And now Nemki's looking pretty strong. Ezreal still needs time to scale up with the Yuumi. And Rifty's just invincible. Dragon in a minute. There's Soul. Like you said, Jake, the game isn't over already.
I mean, it feels like maybe there would be something for Barrage if this Soul doesn't go over, but I genuinely just think it's impossible at this point.
They just need to steal it. They just need to steal it and not fight. Yeah. And then that's their only hope.
They just need buy some time. Because like you said, there is scaling on this Yuumi Ezreal. That is an option to them. They're a long way from that scaling and the ability to deal with Rifty, but I don't feel like that will even be a factor if Rifty's running around with Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I mean, once he gets Ocean Soul, it's essentially going to be like, you know, once Ezreal hits 2 items, he can out-damage the Ocean Soul, and that's about it. I mean, already you see Rifty run at him and just kill him every time. And I just love that animation, just how he's just punching
so good. Just punching the...
I love this skin as well, the like space bear skin.
Yeah, what skin is that?
I think it might be like the Arctic Ops. Is there an Arctic Ops?
Oh, yes, you might be right.
I don't know. It's hard to keep track when they rework skins.
Oh no, Rifty's teleporting in. PFI's over the wall, and Rifty
There he is!
just bolting towards the members. Does get interrupted, but that'll be the end of Akers as Nemki secures the kill. Afro Boy actually does answer out onto Wolf, but over the wall goes Rifty as he gets kicked back out. Afro Boy wants nothing to do with him, and Rifty would just jump back in. A double kill picked up onto him as it's a triple kill actually picked up onto the Ezreal. Now they do find themselves to shut down the turnaround as Rifty looks to slide in. He's going to get himself a double kill as PFI goes down. Barrage, that was actually a best case scenario. They denied the Ocean Soul, but now Rifty's chasing them down. Can the bear find the kill? Looks like he won't be able to. Barrage get a triple kill onto KDO, and they get the dragon.
I mean, that was just best case scenario for Barrage. They didn't take Rifty down, but they were never going to anyway. He's just invincible, but I'd be careful there, Wojix. But anyway, I mean, Wolf just gets caught at the start, so credit to Afro Boy. He kind of redeemed himself there with a really nice sort of kick on a Wolf. And then Nemki flashing over the wall was very questionable. Really just didn't go in favor of them. So instantly, Wolf and Nemki essentially died. And then it was just the Rifty show. And yes, the Rifty was enough to take everyone down. But critically, he used his gap closers over the Dragon Wall, and he had no way to get back. And it was just that final moment where Afro Boy and Wojix was like, wait, we can just get the Dragon and get out. And they denied the soul. So we were talking about how doomed it was. They found a lifeline somehow. At least for the next 4 minutes. But it's something.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what does that lifeline actually look like, though?
More time for KDO to scale? I mean, maybe when he gets Death Stance and, you know, Yuumi gets items, more items, maybe then Rifty's going to feel less relevant. Because he started to build tanky items now, like the Spirit Visage. He actually doesn't have much armor other than coming from the Death Stance, so there will come a point where KDO can deal with him. It's not yet.
I assume because he gets to play the Ruin King 4th on the Ezreal, at that point he might be able to kite Rifty a little bit more efficiently with a slow and obviously
I mean,
the
I
health
think
percent damage.
That is obviously a factor, but I just think any items against Rifty. Once you get the Death Stance, you're harder to kill. Ezreal, Yuumi with Death Stance. Rifty's going to have to use all his gap closes to get onto you. KDO has flash advantage at the moment. And then even if you get onto him, you actually saw how long KDO survived in melee range. It was a lot longer than before. And Rifty isn't building any more damage right now. So there is going to come a point where KDO can just out-heal him to an extent.
Oh, they actually put some damage into Wolf here, but instantly get the cocoon off. KDO survives. PFI's low HP. That's the true shot Barrage and the unleashed power as KDO finds himself a double kill. Once again coming up huge. They do find the chains onto Chromax. Akers looks to continue the fight. Wojux did back away there. They throw down the Nature's Grass to catch out for themselves a pick, and Chromax will get taken out. KDO suddenly just went from 1-4 to 7-4. And now it's looking like Baron is on the table for Barrage. Rifty has to peel away from the base. He needs to come and make something happen here. This Baron is a little bit slow at the moment, and it might buy the time for Nemki and Rifty to get into the pit and into the fight. Rifty with double buffs, level 15, is going to look to try and join in. Wojux over the wall, wants to try and find a pick onto Nemki. As KDO just zoning Rifty out for the moment. Rifty now looking for the pick onto KDO. Instantly gets himself thrown in with the ulti, but a shutdown gets picked up for KDO. Nemki does take out the jungle, but he will fall as well. KDO is suddenly alive in this game. He is so strong.
And he just got a huge shutdown from Rifty there. No armor really on Rifty. Just isn't enough to withstand, especially when there's 5 members of Barrage Academy against him. This Volley Bear isn't going to be as relevant later on. Ezreal has truly come online, now has that Death Stance, and I'm actually starting to get pretty concerned here for Demise. They're still 5,000 up in gold, but I'm just not sure it matters right now. Like, Maokai, it doesn't matter if you're behind. Your job is just to be CC.
Maokai's doing his job, actually.
Yeah.
This is what you were kind of hitting on earlier, was like, he just can be that frontline CC bot to keep KDO alive, and obviously with the flanking available to him, if he can find that, that could also be big.
I mean, all he has to do is just pick a target and hold them still, and KDO and Alpaca will do the rest. And right now, KDO...
Oh.
It's only 1,000...
Oh! Good repel.
Dragon up in 55. And with PFI resetting, that means Barrage can definitely get control of the Dragon area. They deny another Dragon here, it'll be huge. And on top of that, if they win the fight, they can just translate that into a Baron. KDO was already looking strong before, and now he is extremely so. I'm just a bit concerned right now because I feel like you need Wolf to be stepping up, and he's just not finding impact. He got caught out in that last sort of instance in the top lane. Again, in the Dragon fight before, he also got caught out. The Syndra is just really not doing much, and you need the Syndra to be doing so. You need some threat onto these squishies.
There's a big group there. They find themselves a pick onto Nemki. Wojux has to blink out, but he's instantly CC'd down. He's going to survive, though. The healing comes in from the Yuumi. He's alive! That's going to be the Stormbringer thrown out by Rifty as Wojux is trying to buy some space. He's going to be able to ping back, but he's not going to find it in time. KDO gets a massive True Shot Barrage off, and Afro Boy survives. Rifty zoned away from the rest of his team as KDO is hot on the hunt, trying to find himself a pick onto the jungler. Can he get it? Isn't going to get the sniper. The Spiderlings eat up the Mystic Shot. And oh my lord, this game is getting so close. That's the flash kick back. Rifty's getting chunked. Rifty has no ultimate, remember. The Scatter Weak stuns onto one as their health bars are so low on the side of Demise. Barrage may just get their second dragon right now.
Yeah, I think you've threatened Rifty enough. You can just go straight for that dragon. The fight was a lot more chaotic and messy. Wojux, good burst onto Nemki. There wasn't enough, and now
they're bringing
TP's
Rifty.
late. They're just pinging Baron. They're just going to go for the Baron. They're worried about being outscaled. They're just going to coin flip the game here. Barrage are aware this is happening. They're going to react. And the TP is coming in from Akers.
Can they do this Baron quick enough? They have that on-hit Varus. He's going to be able to melt through this very quickly. The True Shot Barrage clips onto the members. Their health bars are already low. Chromax looking to come in. Akers has a cat on his shoulder. It's 3k health onto the Baron. The health bars for the side of Demise are exceptionally low. And Barrage actually just turn around and go back to Baron. They want to be the ones to pick this up. They don't care about these turrets falling. 4,700 health on Baron. The turnaround for Barrage is here. Wojux comes over the wall looking for the assassination of the Wolf. Wolf has to jump away. They have the ultimate coming down from the Yuumi to pin in place as Rifty launches into the fray. Look at the damage he's able to do. They do get themselves the kill onto Akers. Now Wojux is going to be the one who's getting caught out as Demise have found their opening, have found their moment to get the damage, to get the kills. Afro Boy with a clutch kick will save his AD carry's life as the health bars on the side of Demise are refreshed, are topped up for the moment as Barrage now looking to get herself out of there. The jump over the wall means they will be able to kite for the moment. Rifty playing with fire here, or is it maybe KDO who's playing with fire? The respawns will be coming through soon, and it looks like Demise, they think better of the Baron. They cool away from that. That was close.
I mean, Rifty got so much impact in that situation. He got onto the back line. He was getting that AoE damage from the ultimate down, but it still wasn't enough. They just did not have an answer to KO. He's able to continue to free hit, and that's where the problem lies. No one is able to threaten this Ezreal. And as much as Rifty can kill everyone else on the team put together, 1v3. If the Ezreal Yuumi is still going, it's a problem, and they're not able to do the Baron.
Can they defend that wave here? We do actually have a little look at the gold graph here. Be a little bit less one-sided than we saw last time. There is obviously a slight dip. The gold's still very comfortably in favor of Demise, but if our observer could quickly just toggle to the gold so we can see the difference there as well. Yeah, most of that gold lead is sitting on Rifty on the Volley Bear. And obviously it means he's very tanky, he's very strong and able to do a serious amount of damage, but
you have to also remember a critical thing is that if a gold lead stays flat, so like let's say a gold lead 6,000 at 20 minutes and it's still 6,000 at 30 minutes, it's just not as impactful because compared to the total amount of gold the team has, it's like if someone has one item and someone has two items, that's a massive difference. But between 5 and 6, it's not as big a difference. And I think that's where the fact that the gold lead was staying pretty level, like it dipped back and then returned the same amount, it just shows that Demise, they had a massive lead. It was monumental, but it's not feeling nearly as relevant right now. And Barrage, they're moving up as a unit to fish. Rifty isn't quite there yet.
Just having a little think. Now, I'm curious to see what KDO's now got in his pockets. He's building towards that Blade of the Rune King. Hasn't quite found it. Akers has the cap on. He throws down the Nature's Grasp. The True Shot Barrage is thrown down. Rifty very tanky on that front line. And Afro Boy is going to get quickly taken out. KDO trying to tank away. Trying to kite away from Rifty. Does do a lot of damage to him. But the Arcane Shift may put him in the space. May give him the opening. But that heal is disgusting. The hook by Chromax isn't quite enough to find the kill. As Wojux onto that flank now on the LeBlanc. Can he find himself the crucial pick? Big double distort could be enough for him here, but he has to jump away. The Scatter of the Week and the Cleanse comes down as KDO now looking to put some poke in. Demise found their opening, and this could just be Baron Nashor over to them.
Finally finding success, they're committing onto the front line of Barrage Academy. Rifty can survive enough time, and as long as he isn't over-committing, the rest of the team can follow up when Wolf and Nemki are safe. Now, they're fishing for some damage here to try and force him off the Baron. You've got to be careful, though.
Yeah, it looks like it will get some damage off onto Wolf. The Arcane Shift was used by KDO, able to dodge away on that Cocoon, but Rifty's chasing him down. Wojak's also running in the opposite direction. The Blast Cone gets used, and now KDO may just look for the kill onto the mid laner. Is able to find it as Chromax also will forward. Double kill picked up for KDO here. You can see the chains are connecting. Rifty's on the other side, trying to find himself something onto Wojak, as Nemki is going to find himself a shot down onto this Ezreal. It's been such a nuisance. Double kill and Baron picked up for the side of Demise. They do lose Wolf, they do lose Chromax, but KDO crucially was shut down.
And a big thing with the Ezreal Yuumi down, Dragon spawning in 20. There's not much Barrage Academy can do to stop this soul for Demise. Nemki is just too powerful right now on this Varus. You can see he's starting to pump out consistent damage. And that's what's really driving these fights. Kick him down, Rifty,
just has to kick him away.
Yeah, I mean, he's happy now. PFI is there with the smite. Barrage need a steal, but if Nemki stays alive, there's not much they can do.
Looks like this could just be that Ocean's Rake we were talking about. It was looking close. Afro Boy tries to flash in to get over, but he's unable to get it, and Wojaks will get picked up. This is the end of Afro Boys. He is able to ward hop over, but the Stormbringer closes the gap as Rifty will be able to find himself the kill onto Afro Boy. And now Akers, he's the one who's potentially getting tower dove here. Is going to get himself something off onto Rifty. Rifty underneath that tower taking some serious damage from KDO and the rest of the team. The Zonyas gets used by Akers to buy some space, to buy some time, but PFI, he uses his own Zonyas in response. KDO unable to find himself that Mystic shot, that Q he needed to kill PFI. And now with all of his teammates dead, KDO is going to have to defend with a kitty cat alone.
This game felt like KDO against the world, but it definitely is right now. 5 members of Demise with the Baron pushing up. Now it's 10 seconds till jungle mid spawns. Max keeps fishing, doesn't find anything. Now Wolf, I'm not sure about that one.
He did go for the flash there. They've got the Baron minions. They've got the champions coming up. Wojak has to find something here for his team. Tower number 1's going to go down. That's the depth charge onto the LeBlanc. The hook again goes a little bit wide as they will be able to take down that turret. In goes Wojak. He's going to get himself taken out instantly. Wolf goes golden. KDO trying to put that damage in time, but Nemki will take down the Nexus. 35 minutes on the clock, and Demise get the win.
Definitely not a clean game by any means. You cannot say that, and I think there's definitely issues with Demise, but Rifty is an absolute monster, especially on that volley bear. He was a beast, and we saw the bot lane really step up in the later stages. The Varus start to come online, become relevant. It was definitely a good effort though from Barrage. It's really sad to see after that game they're going to end up going to being 0-4 because KDO just did so much work in that game to try and bring it back, and it just wasn't quite enough. Eventually it got to the point where the Varus on hit started to really pull its weight. Syndra was getting caught out less, but I really wasn't impressed with Wolf that game. I think if Demise want to be challenged in the top teams, Wolf needs to step up because he was my big concern in that situation. Not his best performance, and he didn't have a great performance yesterday either. But Rifty is just, he is something else. And I think whatever happens this split, I will be shocked if Rifty is still in the UKLC and not the NLC, because whether a Demise promote or not, he is by all means looking like he deserves to be in the top league.
I think it's safe to say that Rifty is definitely the best top laner we've got in the UKLC. He looks so good in that game. But I do also, like you said, KDO played really well on that Ezreal, and that was looking a little touch and go towards that kind of late game there, where suddenly KDO was just mopping up these fights, and Rifty couldn't get on him. You saw once he finally got on him, they were able to deal with it, but KDO was doing some serious work for his team there, and he was dragging that team by their ankles, trying to get them over the finish line. But unfortunately, there was a polar bear guarding that, and they were unable to get anything, get themselves the win there. But overall, there were 2 standout players for me in that game. It was Rifty, obviously, and then KDO on the other side. So overall, just really stellar stuff coming through from the side of Demise. We'll have to see how they fare versus some of the other teams in next week's games, but we'll be finding that out later. Now, guys, we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll have an interview with Wolf, so don't go anywhere. See you in a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the UK League Championship. Now, we actually do have Wolf, the man in the mid lane, standing by for an interview. He is cameraless, so hopefully we just have audio. Are you there, buddy? Hey, how you doing? You're really quiet for me. I'm going to turn you up. 1 second. Got to break the 4-4 a little bit.
Is that any better now?
Yeah, there we go. How you doing, mate, after that win?
Well, it definitely wasn't like a clean game from my end personally. Top and bot played exceptionally well in jungle, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got Rifty on the volley bear. What's it like being playing with Rifty? Because he's quite a seasoned player as far as the UK scene goes.
I really love playing with him because obviously he's an amazing player. Off the Rift as well, he's a really, really nice guy. We get along with him very well. He's just great to have. He's very knowledgeable, and it's fantastic to have him in a working environment.
So big win for you there. I mean, Barrage obviously on the lower end of the table, but that cut was touch and go at some moments. Now, I feel like Demise, you're in a good spot in the standings, but I think there are some stronger teams in the league. What do you think you need to sort of work on if you're going to become one of these top contenders for the spot to go through to the NLC?
Basically, at the minute, I think it's more of our macro. It's a bit sloppy. We need to be a bit quicker getting to objectives and setting up vision control. As well as I think it's just playing a lot more as well because it's communication as well. We just need to communicate a bit better, and then hopefully we can get a very well-oiled machine up and running and go hard.
So next week you're taking on M&M Academy in your first game of day one next week. So you're going up versus Vango. You had a pretty good TF game yesterday. How comfortable are you feeling versus going up versus Vango next week?
I'm pretty comfortable. I know of him from our days when we played on Lost Stick together-ish. So I'm pretty comfortable. I think it'd be a really fun matchup to play, as long as we don't get the Azir Corki.
Yeah, and I have to say that you've had a couple of moments in the games where it's come down to like hypey, huge moments where someone's made a massive play, like the PFI Baron steals, which weren't enough to get you the game yesterday. But also today was like these critical moments in team fights. How are the comms in those moments when everything's a bit chaotic and you're coming down to these clutch things to sort of find you the advantage?
It's just sort of opportunistic because one person calls something, goes, "Oh, I have a very good like X pick here" or something, and then you just got to follow, you just got to snap to it. You know, it's just reactionary at the end of the day.
A lot of trust then between players to sort of say when someone goes, "Oh, I found that," you just commit and go, "Yeah, we'll do it."
Yeah, absolutely. That's all it is. You know, you find the opportunity, you go for it. Some things you can't plan for, League, like that, for instance. You got to take it when it comes.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your win, Wolf. Good luck for your games next week, and thank you for joining us for the interview. Now, guys, we are going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, it will be Envision taking on M&M Academy. This is the one that we've been bigging up and getting quite excited for here as the casters, because this one is hard to call, so you don't want to miss this one. We'll see you after the break.